Y'all know Caleb Hammer is a right-wing propagandist, right? Yeah, this guy that yells at poor people for like being poor, it's not apolitical because his whole entire platform is based on finding people that are struggling financially and blaming them for their problems, which in individual cases seems harmless, but consistently showing stories of poor people that are struggling because they refuse to get out of bed does nothing but promote this fallacy that the reason there is poverty in America is because of individual choices. And not only does he spread this right-wing line, but he also does so in a way that explicitly appeals to right-wing propagandists, LGBT debt. God, I wonder who's gonna connect those two. So I know that every single episode there is plausible deniability that his goal isn't to blame poor people for their problems, or maybe this individual could do better. But collectively, and his editorial choice to consistently bring them on, is pushing the political line. If all you are shown of stories of poor people are not people that got screwed over by a system, or people that are really trying their best and just can't make ends meet, but are stories of people that are struggling because of choices they have made or came from privileged backgrounds, which by and large is what Caleb Hammer is showing. And especially if you are given the emotional outlet that he gives to yell at or demean or diminish these people, there is no way that's not reflected in your politics. And it's intentionally done. For example, the headline I showed is not unique. His headlines have been misogynistic, homophobic, racist, etc. before. And that's not an accident. That's not me being like woke. That's what media literacy looks like. Connecting his demeaning or dismissive nature of people who struggle because they are in marginalized identities, because his goal is to spread right-wing propaganda. So please learn to recognize what this looks like. This media is not apolitical. And when we talk about building media literacy, this is what we mean. Of course he's not out here repeating Trump talking points. But when you are presented in a media ecosystem that demeans and diminishes certain personalities and identities, like he actively does to poor people and tacitly does to other marginalized groups, there's no way that's not internalized. And then, when it's internalized by enough, it's systematized. So we need to fight back on it on every single level. And you can call me woke or overly sensitive or whatever. It doesn't mean that what I'm saying isn't true, and it doesn't mean that the reason it hasn't been called out before is because America has been stripped of almost all of its media literacy.